Canada, a vast nation of dynamic landscapes. Storm chaser Mark Robinson is on the hunt for the most perilous weather in the country. From hurricanes to tornadoes to avalanches, Mark tackles the ultimate power of Canada's wicked weather.
This is the worst case scenario.
This whole area is likely going under.
I'm exhilarated right now.
The Kootenay Mountains of British Columbia. This picturesque landscape is a destination for the daring, but in a split second, an exciting adventure could turn deadly.
This is the kind of thing I see in my nightmares.
This is avalanche country. Meteorologist Mark Robinson and fellow adventurer George Karunas have come to the backcountry of BC in search of these deadly forces of nature. The mountain snowpacks are made up of many layers, formed from various snowfalls. Humidity and temperature affect the composition of the snow. Some layers are dense and wet, while others are icy. These various layers can weaken the snowpack and cause slabs to rip away, sometimes catching people off guard.
This avalanche interception has been a long time in the planning. The avalanche crews are all excited by it. We're in the right time, we're in the right place. I'm very nervous and very excited at the same time. Well, here we are, Kootenay Pass. Just made it through the most dangerous part of the pass without too much trouble. But I'll tell you, it gets a little nerve-wracking when you suddenly see a big gust of snow come off the trees and you're going through an avalanche area. Your heart beats just a little bit faster.
Avalanches can travel at more than 280 kilometers an hour, hauling 100,000 tons of snow. An average of 150 people are killed each year worldwide by these enveloping clouds of snow and ice. 80% of fatalities in Canada occur in British Columbia.
If you're caught in an avalanche, it isn't just snow you're dealing with. There's trees, wood, rocks. Dangerous, dangerous place.
And what tends to kill people if you survive the ride in an avalanche is you get what's called an ice mask on the front of your face. So you're breathing and you're melting the snow in front of your face and then it's freezing. So that's what creates that suffocation.
There's a 90% chance of survival if found in the first 15 minutes. Odds dwindle to 20% after just 30 minutes of being trapped by the wall of unforgiving snow. Recent warm temperatures have made the snowpack unstable. It's time for human intervention. Strategically placed explosives will trigger a series of smaller, controlled avalanches. Avalanche safety teams use a selection of powerful tools to do this. The Gaz-X exploder, Daisy Bell, howitzer gun, as well as helibombing. Permanent Gaz-X exploders are embedded on the steep cliffs where avalanches are common. They can fire day or night, no matter the weather.
All right, here we go. Right up above us here is the avalanche path itself. So it's coming down right down here. And we're gonna be able to get the shot of the avalanche coming straight down at us. So this is gonna be quite an interesting shoot, see how this all goes.
So this gully here?
Yeah, exactly, that gun right at the top there.
Powdered big time.
Yeah.
Wow. It's just stripping it off, going all over.
The first few triggers release a significant amount of snow, but not enough to clear the danger. The control crew takes to the sky with another device, the Daisy Bell.
With a Daisy Bell, every 10 seconds, you can push the button and it's ready to go for another shot.
This is one of the crazier things I've done. I'm climbing into a helicopter that's full of high explosives. This is the third way they set off shockwaves to get the avalanches going here at Kootenay Pass. And this one is probably the most spectacular.
What actually sets off the avalanche when the explosives goes off, whether it's the Daisy Bell, the Gaz-X, or our explosives here, is the pressure wave that destabilizes the snowpack.
In a helicopter run, the crew connects a 2.5-minute fuse to a bag of ammonium nitrite and fuel oil. After that's released, the chopper must quickly retreat before detonation. Once the bombs go off, the pilot can swoop in for another run. With a fresh pile of snow flooding the highway, heavy equipment comes to the rescue once again. Major avalanches can block highways for hours or even days. Controlled avalanches are much quicker to clear away. When the Gaz-X guns and Daisy Bells just aren't enough, some regions bring out the cannons. The Canadian Armed Forces uses the howitzer in Rogers Pass to battle the forces of nature. They oversee the largest mobile avalanche control program in North America. The howitzers can be shot in the middle of the night, even at the height of a storm, when target areas can't be seen. All this is done to avoid accidental triggers. Mark and Rob check out the avalanche debris from the day's dramatic explosions.
This is the kind of thing I see in my nightmares. You know, is this level of snow coming at you. You look at some of the photography or the video of it coming down, it looks so fluffy and nice, and you don't realize it's like this.
No, exactly. Like in the footage that you'll see of the avalanches in motion, there is a airborne particle component to it that looks like it's just kind of light and fluffy, but the main part of that avalanche deposit is that mass that's moving underneath that powder cloud that you can't really see, and it does set up like concrete immediately as soon as it stops.
Storm hunters track the most unpredictable weather. The thrill of the hunt leads them from this chaotic event to the next. After the rush of turbulent snow, the ferocity of the wind lures Mark to the prairies.
I'm in Regina, Saskatchewan today, where all the ingredients for a severe weather outbreak are coming together. We have heat, we have humidity, and we have the winds in the perfect position to create rotating storms that meteorologists call supercells. Now, these kind of storms can produce large hail, heavy rain, high winds, and sometimes even tornadoes.
There's our tornado, folks. We have one.
Canada has the second highest rate of tornado occurrences in the world, ranking behind only the United States. An average of 62 tornadoes rip across the country each year. Southern Ontario through Quebec and the southern Prairie provinces form the Canadian regions of Tornado Alley. Saskatchewan has more tornadoes than any other area. Mark is traveling across the province with fellow storm chaser Greg Johnson to find the heart of the storm.
Got a nice storm forming off to our sort of southeast at the moment, so we're sort of headed in that direction. We're going to try and get underneath it. That's the whole point of this, to get underneath, get into the main updraft, downdraft area, and that's where the tornado forms.
We're already seeing some really great rotation on that storm. Wow, this thing's moving 49 knots right now, so it's screaming across the countryside.
The storm is in a hurry, hurtling around 90 kilometers an hour.
Hail shaft on this storm.
The appearance of hail is a sign of a strong thunderstorm with a powerful updraft.
Oh! Whoa! Gonna get loud!
The largest reported hail in Canada was the size of a grapefruit. Hailstones can cause extensive damage to prairie farmland. It's one of Canada's most expensive weather hazards. The team gets out to read the sky. Rotating clouds, lightning, and hail all signal an impending tornado.
It's gonna go. Greg, that's going fast. Greg! There, middle.
You got a tornado there? Holy guys, look right there, right there.
The chasers struggle to get into position for a better view.
Beautiful, beautiful stovepipe tornado. So we had to be a little bit careful that we have another reformation of another wall cloud near us. Right now, we're sort of out of the danger area. But behind me right now, you can see as this storm is beginning to reform back in here. So what we're gonna do is go east and try to get a little bit closer to this storm. Got another area of rotation right in front of us. We don't want to go too much further. We're going to be right underneath the area of rotation, which is pretty much where we don't want to be. We're sitting right back here as the RFD, the rear flank downdraft, begins to cut around and cut into this part of the storm.
The rear flank downdraft consists of dry and warm mid to upper level winds moving into the thunderstorm, which are forced back down through the storm.
Got a wall cloud, nice lowering back in here, but the biggest issue right now is lightning. Lightning is going like crazy, which means this is a strengthening storm. Extreme lightning danger, so I'm getting back in the car, not being out here.
Lightning is an electrical discharge in our atmosphere. In thunderstorms, water droplets, dust, and ice pellets circulate through massive towering cumulus clouds. All of these elements carry an electrical charge. The turbulent wind of a storm knocks these particles around, creating a growing static charge within the cloud. The positive and negative charges reach out to each other to make a connection. The connection is what we see as a flash of lightning. Lightning kills approximately 10 Canadians each year and injures about 150 more. Its deadly reach can extend 16 kilometers from the center of the storm. Sizzling over 30,000 degrees Celsius, a direct hit could cause both your heart and lungs to stop working. And in this wide-open prairie landscape, there's nowhere to hide. Even without a tornado on the ground, the wind and rain leave calamity in their wake.
Yeah, oh yeah. Are they okay? No. Are the kids okay?
They're in bad shape in there.
Yeah, oh yeah. Everybody's conscious and alert.
I've got a blanket!
It's the kind of thing that happens in these kind of situations, accidents caused by the rain and the wind. We're rendering assistance as best we can.
Mark and the others abandon the storm hunt to help the victims it left behind. However, there's no shortage of chase opportunities in Canada. After all, brutish weather is on its way to the Maritime provinces. Perched on the eastern edge of Canada are quiet fishing villages and rugged shorelines. Everywhere you turn is picturesque, until the Atlantic Ocean turns deadly. Monster storms often tear up the coast, fueled by warm water currents rising from the tropics. They pummel the coastline without mercy. It's the perfect place for storm hunters. Hurricane Arthur invades North Carolina on July 3, 2014. It causes widespread power outages and flooding. Winds peaking at 160 kilometers an hour disrupt Independence Day celebrations. Some vacationers cut their seaside holiday short, whereas others embrace the big surf.
Mark and I have relocated from Toronto here to the Maritimes, fully anticipating this storm. Now, it hit North Carolina as a Category 2. What is it going to do here? Well, it's still pretty strong. It's probably going to make landfall as a post-tropical storm, but it will probably still have hurricane force gusts, big waves, and lots of rain. Certainly 100 millimeters or more could easily come down in some spots here in Nova Scotia and New Brunswick. So we'll see what happens over the next 24 to 36 hours.
Hurricanes affecting the eastern seaboard actually start as thunderstorms off the west coast of Africa. At the center of the storm is an area of low pressure. The surface of the sea must be a minimum of 26.5 degrees Celsius. That warm, moist air feeds up into the clouds. Winds flow outward above the storm, allowing more air below to continue to rise. These clouds begin to rotate with the spin of the Earth. With enough warm water to fuel the storm, winds increase and clouds continue to grow. The storm is officially a hurricane when it reaches sustained wind speeds of 119 kilometers an hour. When hurricanes move into cooler Canadian waters, they usually weaken into post-tropical storms and dissipate. But Arthur still has plenty of power. It makes landfall with hurricane-strength wind gusts strong enough to do serious damage. Mark and George attempt to report live from the heart of the storm. The gale force winds mixed with the other challenges test their limits.
Wind is really starting to pick up, and we've had numerous technical problems this morning. So we're just going to have to grin and bear it and make do with what we got and just try to improvise. Yeah, that's it, improvise. Whoa, the wind's already really starting to pick up here at Peggy's Cove.
Post-tropical storm Arthur is making its way up the Nova Scotia coast, and right here at Peggy's Cove, it is really letting itself be known. Winds are probably 75 kilometers an hour, but these winds are beginning to shift, so those waves are coming straight in at the rocks. It's actually quite a dangerous place to be.
Peggy's Cove is an iconic landmark of the Canadian Maritimes. The historic lighthouse has weathered countless storms since it was established in 1868. The raw power of the ocean lures scores of weather fanatics. Not even the threat of being swept out to sea can keep tourists away. The slippery granite landscape has been worn smooth by centuries of turbulent tides. Even on a calm day, rogue waves can knock you down.
One thing that I find interesting is that even though the wind is raging, I'm in a bit of a lee here, so it's not so bad. But step a couple of feet that way, it's blowing like crazy. And there's still tourists showing up here to Peggy's Cove.
This one we have a nice set of waves coming in, a little bit of spray, but we're not getting it up over top of the lighthouse, so makes it very interesting to bring our friends from France out here to see the weather in Peggy's Cove.
Visiting the East Coast, I lucked out. I was able to make it here for the storm, so it's good viewing. I'm pretty amazed. We don't get these waves back on the West Coast.
The waves have been picking up increasingly. We got hit by a couple waves down there, so we come back to save our own lives. But it's a crazy, crazy day here. Very intense.
It's hard to get the shots you want because we've been here trying to set up, and the way the waves and the weather pick up, you just got to stand back to be able to be safe. You can't do it anymore. It's just way too intense.
So I'm not the only crazy storm chaser out here in post-tropical storm Arthur at Peggy's Cove.
I found this perfect little spot. I'm sort of sheltered from the wind here, and just over in this direction, the waves are crashing against the rocks. And if I were maybe 75 feet that way, it would be pretty much guaranteed death.
Hurricanes in the Northern Hemisphere spiral counterclockwise. The most violent winds and heaviest rain are found along the eye wall. Intensity decreases towards the outer edges of the storm. In tropical storms like Arthur, the wind is most fierce on the right side. Not only is this edge of the storm fueled by the warm air over the ocean and the forward motion of the storm, but it's also unimpeded. It's a different story on the left side. Here, the storm collides with cooler northern air. It causes the moist air to condense and fall as rain. It can push huge amounts of water on land, which is called a storm surge. Mark and George only experience 1 millimeter of rain in Peggy's Cove, Nova Scotia, but still manage to get thoroughly drenched.
The waves and winds are increasing a lot. Wow, turn around and look right behind you right now. Let's get out of here. Yeah, I think so.
Soaked and salt-encrusted, the storm chasers retreat to explore the damage left by Arthur. The neighboring provinces of New Brunswick and Quebec are flooded with up to 130 millimeters of rain. Over 113,000 homes spend days without power. Uprooted trees block exit routes, and piles of debris testify to the sheer power of Atlantic Canadian weather. Despite the damage, the storm hunters are delighted.
Arthur was it was an interesting storm. It was a lot of fun for a storm chaser from that point of view because it was an exciting storm. We got lots of wind and rain, and there were no major injuries or fatalities. So that's exactly what I want to see as a storm chaser.
Mark and fellow storm hunters run the gamut of nature's wrath. Canadian weather is fierce. It scrubs the earth, dominates the sky, and takes command of the ocean. But enduring unpredictable weather is just an ordinary day for the true North Strong.